Welcome to Kirly-Sue's Kitchen. Today joining me is the wonderful Mr. Roddy McDonald. Roddy, please tell our viewers and listeners all about who you are and what it is that you do, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kirly, for the invitation to be here, and I will be pleased to share what I can with your audience, particularly as regards to how people might be able to enjoy optimum health, which is the journey that I've had to take myself, I am passionate about helping people embrace natural approaches to health,
right,
and taking personal responsibility for their health, which I believe has never been more important than in the current age, and particularly with what we've seen over the last couple of years. The number one thing I believe now that is going to separate the healthy from the unhealthy is their ability to take personal responsibility for their own health and for their own lives.
Absolutely, I would totally agree. So the majority of this is a vegan show. I know you're not a vegan, but it's okay. We are open to everyone. That's fine. So even though you're not a vegan, can you tell me a little bit about your experience with vegan food? And then we're going to go on to talk about your philosophy of the importance of alkalizing water. So first of all, what's been your experience of vegan food?
Yeah, I think like many other people over the last a number of years, that I have moved from being maybe eating animal produce more than once a day to limiting that and gradually reducing it. And for two reasons. I'm well aware, having been brought up in the agricultural type community, of the issues of animal husbandry, but more so in terms of the impact it has on human health, and particularly with the acidification of the body. So I think what I see, and a large percentage of our customers will also be vegans. The bulk of the products that we supply would be, even on the food supplement side, would be vegan products. Mm-hmm. We have only one range, which the fish oil range, which is fine for pescatarians, but most of them are actually vegan products, because we believe that plant-based diets are crucially important for optimum health. There may be some of us that may benefit from a little bit of animal products, but the sad thing is that there is far too much consumed on the planet of animal products, and most of them now moving towards intensive agriculture, and that is very, very sad. It's going to have a detrimental effect to human health, yes, as well as a total disregard for the animals that live with us on this planet. So I think it's it's obviously a very emotive subject, but I think if we look at it from the hard facts of the impact it has on our health, then moving towards a plant-based diet is definitely one of the most important things people can do to enjoy a better quality of health and probably extend their lifespan.
Absolutely. So I'd now like to talk about your philosophy about the importance of alkalizing water, because I know you have a company that does things related
yes,
to that.
Well, yeah, to give you a little bit background of Water for Health, that is set up now 15 years ago. And that was given birth largely through my own experience, having to recover my own health when I suffered for quite a number of years with chronic fatigue syndrome. And began to see the importance, having tried many natural approaches as well as the conventional medical approach, many things, but the two things that were of prime importance to me was the need for good hydration, and secondly, the need for proper body pH balance, something that is, I feel, quite neglected. But it was because of that, and having worked in the water industry for quite a number of years on industrial water treatment. In 2006, I came across technologies in the health-related side, and decided that I wanted to move into that sector to try and make a difference to people. So we began in 2007 with one product, which changed the properties of water to make the water more alkaline, to improve its structure, and to give the water antioxidant properties. Now, at that time, there was limited research available onto the benefits of water, but in particularly with regard to its antioxidant benefits and its structure, there has been a lot more research carried out in the last decade. And although we believe that a lot of the benefit people were seeing there way back in 2007, 2008, was due to the alkaline effect, we now believe that most of that benefit was coming from the antioxidant benefit as well as the improvement in water structure.
Right. Okay.
And the antioxidant effect is largely due to the release of molecular hydrogen into the water, H2, and that molecular hydrogen is a potent antioxidant. And over the last 12 to 15 years, there has been in excess of 1,000 scientific papers published on the benefits of molecular hydrogen.
Right.
And a lot of these were using hydrogen-rich water that people were drinking, and even at very low concentrations, it was showing therapeutic benefit. So the whole aspect of water has changed over the 15 years since we've been involved, because of the research that's now coming to the fore from particularly from the Far East in Japan and Korea, where they've been further advanced, but now also from some other research establishments in both the US and in Europe.
Right.
To my mind, good, healthy water is the number one nutrient for the body. If we're not properly hydrated, we will nothing will function right.
So what would you say to people who say, oh, I just don't like water, I don't drink water, how can I mean, people ask me this question, and I'll tell you what my response is. When people say, oh, I don't really drink water, particularly if they live in London, you're not really, you don't usually drink tap water if you're from London.
Sure. Sure. I can understand people having that belief if they're subjected to chlorinated water, which tastes pretty disgusting. But when we're talking of water with that's clean, the absence of contaminants, and with good structure, etc., that water, and many people comment that water tastes different. But it's interesting to note that when people do begin to drink good water, they begin to feel thirsty, because in many instances, people have lost their sense of thirst. And when you begin to drink water again, that sense of thirst comes. It's the body craving for more of this fluid to
I did not know
support
that.
the body. Yes. In fact, there's a doctor that wrote several books. He died about 12 years ago. Dr. Batmangeli, who had an interesting story in that he was he graduated as a doctor in London, but he was of Iranian origin. And when he was back in Iran during the overthrow of the Shah, he was imprisoned. And all he had to help his fellow inmates in the prison, who many of them were probably on the equivalent of death row there, was water. And he became engrossed in the ability of water to help with many common diseases. And when he was actually freed later on, he began to try and spread the results of his observations and research, and has written several books. The first one he wrote was called Your Body's Many Cries for Water.
Right.
And there's other ones such as Water and Salt, and that he subsequently wrote. But they're a very good introduction for people looking at to see how water can improve their well-being.
Yeah, because there's hydrotherapy. Because in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, one of the methods that they use for people who are sick is hydrotherapy. So that's another use for water. But just to interject before you continue, people often say to me, I want to drink more water, but I don't really know how I can. I don't really like it. So I say to them, find a water that you like. When you go along the supermarket shelves, there's 101 different, there's lots of different ones. Find one that you like. Make sure the pH is 7 or above. So it's good water, or you have a water filter jug. And then I say to them, start with a small amount. So say, even if it's just 2 or 3 ounces to start with. So day one, 2 or 3 ounces, anyone can knock back 2 or 3, a baby could do that.
Sure.
Then increase it, go up a couple of ounces and more and more. And as you do that every day, you'll get used to it. So do it slowly. And then if you want to put slices of lemon in it, you want to get fancy, put some mint and so forth. And there your water journey, drinking on a regular basis, will begin. Would you agree, or would you add?
I would say that's very good advice for people. That when you go to the supermarket, as you say, there's an array of different types of water there. And yes, I would have to say that I believe bottled water is preferable to tap water. Yeah. But it's not really ideal.
No.
Most of it. Because it has not got particularly good structure, most of it. Secondly, it does not have the antioxidant benefits which you would can get in other water. And in fact, if you look around the healing waters found in nature, most of them would have that naturally occurring levels of molecular hydrogen.
Right.
And what we've tried to do at Water for Health here is to begin to bring to people products that would try and get as near as we can to giving the benefits you would find in the healing waters of nature.
Right. So would you say if you had a water filter jug, that would make the tap water, better water to drink?
Depends on the jug filter that you're using.
Right.
Some of them will. Some of the most common ones will only remove hardness and heavy metals and things like that, and they'll clean it up. But many of them also will leave the water slightly acidic. Right. Which is not ideal either. What we have been using is what we call bioceramics, which is compositions of natural minerals formed into little ceramic balls as filter media.
Mhm.
And as the water passes through that filter, it changes the properties of that water in different ways. It does make it more alkaline, it does give it the antioxidant properties, and it improves the structure of the water, which, and the improved structure will aid absorption of the water. And more, the research is coming out that the integrity of our cells is greatly affected by the quality of the water that surrounds our cells.
Okay, so say if I'm listening to this show and I think, you know what, I think I should drink more water and I want to drink good water, what would you recommend?
Well, most of our customers have begun using the filter jug, which is using the bioceramics. That's been the starting place for many of them. And then they maybe move up to having an under sink filter system on tap to give them water, the similar types of properties, but probably slightly higher levels of cleanliness in that water, because you've got larger filters with a longer contact time, etc. But so we kind of, in the under sink filter systems, we will have on a 4-stage filter, we'll have the first 2 filters is to clean the water up, to remove all your as much as possible, your microplastics, your chlorine, fluoride.
Microplastics?
Yes, microplastics. Wow. It is a big concern, and most of that we're seeing it in the water and in the food chain, and particularly from plastic fibers from clothing, where you could be down to fibers which would have a diameter of something like 5 micron. So they're very tiny particles there, and if we would filter down to 0.1 of a micron with that under sink filter, so it forms a barrier against most of these fibers getting through it. So that's the first stage of the filtration. Then the next stage is removing all the heavy metals, your other contaminants such as your chlorine, your fluoride, if you're unfortunate enough to have it in the water supply, and bearing in mind the government is talking about trying to roll out the fluoridation of the water into all parts of the UK, which is, in my view, bad news for people. So it needs to be removed. But you've got other issues that concerns with trace levels of hormones, pharmaceutical drugs, pesticides, etc. in that water that are best to be removed. So the first 2 filters are doing that. Then the 3rd and 4th filters are using the bioceramics that we mentioned there to build that water back up and give that water good structure, the antioxidant benefits, and make it more alkaline. So that's the process. So it's been an evolutionary process for people to start on the jug and gradually move up into systems which will be ideal for a family, and even we have whole house systems that will treat all the water for the house.
So is it all the drinking water or the shower, what you shower with as well?
We can do all of it. The whole house system can supply can treat all the water coming into the house, particularly for shower. And with showering, one of the chlorine alone is a problem, because chlorine dries out the skin and the hair and so on. But it is particularly not helpful for people with respiratory problems, because they're in a closed, moist environment and they're breathing in this chlorine, which can irritate the lungs. So it is good move, and we do have separate filters using bioceramics, just as a shower head that the people can use.
Which is
a shower head which they put at the end of their the shower hose to remove the chlorine, etc. Yes, so we do have them.
Right.
But one distinction I would like there are many companies in the water filtration industry, many people that believe that healthy water is purely clean water. We believe that clean water is important, but it is only one attribute of healthy water.
Right.
That is our distinction.
Right. That's very good to know, because it makes a big difference when you word it that way. You're like,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah. Yes. Our goal is health.
Yes. Our listeners, particularly on the Adventist Radio London, will be clapping their hands saying, yes, 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 this is the sort of thing that we need to be going for.
Good. Yes.
So in terms of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I think one point I would like to make, I mean, 40% of what we do is the water products. The other 60% is food supplements or foods. But if people are not properly hydrated and don't have an ideal body pH balance, then any supplements they take will not benefit them as well as they could do.
All right.
Hydration is important, but hydration does not purely depend on the amount of water you drink. It also is dependent on the electrolytes in your body, having adequate amounts of electrolytes. That's necessary for water absorption in the body. There are many people that are pouring in bottles of water in one end of their bodies, and it's coming straight out the other end.
Right.
Because they're not absorbing it because they have insufficient electrolytes. And I believe part of the problem for that is people are not taking adequate amounts of good salt.
Okay. That's good to know, because we kind of get used to doing things in a certain way and don't really think enough about it. And then there isn't always the information around. So I'm really glad you've come on the show today to kind of inform our listeners and viewers about how we can raise our game when it comes to drinking more water, but not just drinking any old water that's going to really benefit us.
Sure. Yes. And it's interesting to note that when people do become better hydrated, they might not need to drink quite so much water.
Oh. How does that work?
Because so much initially is the body trying to absorb and make up for the deficit we've had in the body.
Because I mean, if the body's 70% water, I'm as from an amateur science point of view, it must need topping up.
Well, sure, yeah. But the fact is that a baby is born with approximately 80% water, and people die with about 50% water. As somebody once explained to me, what happens when a baby's born, their cells are plump like a plum, but when they die, they're shriveled up like a prune.
Okay.
because of dehydration, and dehydration in older people is a significant problem. And it's affecting not only their physical health, but their mental health, because the brain has a very high water content.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's to particularly some aged people. It's a hassle for them to go to the loo, and consequently they don't drink enough. But they need to drink, particularly as they age.
So in the UK, generally speaking, we're good at drinking, but that's probably not water. But we can need to just focus that drinking ability onto drinking more water.
Yeah, many beverages that people do drink will have a negative effect on the water. They will actually dehydrate the body, like coffee and so on.
Yes, so it's important what you do drink. Herbal teas, things that are good and beneficial, because we only have one body. And we can't just go to IKEA or Amazon and get another one. So we have to make the best of what we do have.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, personally speaking, I believe our body is the home of our soul. We have a responsibility to look after it. That maybe people would say, well, you know, the spirit, the soul is the all important, but we have been entrusted a body to live in on this earth, and we have a responsibility to look after it.
Absolutely. That's in keeping with the Adventist teachings: healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. The body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. We have a duty to look after ourselves, and why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I would like for people to know where they can find you on social media, online, if they're interested in one of your wonderful water filter jugs or the home system.
Sure. You could, the main contact through our website of water-for-health.co.uk would be the main one. But on there also, on the homepage of our website, there is a link there to download an ebook that we call The Simple Steps, which is a great way, in my view, I'm biased, to introduce people to simple concepts, of which hydration is one of the most important, to improve their well-being. And I would say it's a good starting place for people on their journey. And we follow that up. And we do offer it, that if people are wanting help, I will do them a half-hour one-to-one session to guide them and to begin to encourage, motivate, or whatever, people on the journey to begin to look after themselves, because many people don't really know where to start.
Really? Yes, I agree. But that's brilliant. That's a brilliant point.
And at the end of the day, we do what we do because we care.
Yes.
And I think it's yes, we need to have a business that's profitable and so on, but it is, to my mind, more gratifying to go home at the end of the day and know that I have made a positive difference in somebody's life. That is the most gratifying thing in this job.
That's brilliant. And are you on social media as well?
We are on Facebook and on Instagram, LinkedIn. Okay. We are there. They're managed for us. That would be the place to get us. But we do also, as distinct from many others in the industry, we do encourage people to speak to us on the phone. So my colleagues downstairs do regularly talk to customers or prospective customers to try and share with them information that we think will be helpful to them. So it depends. It may be that we would have probably a cross-section of people that are healthy but want to maintain their health, and we have a significant percentage of people that have got challenges in their health, and they're looking to see how natural approaches can help to support them on recovering their health.
Brilliant.
So it's on both sides of it.
Okay. Well, that's all we have time for today. I will be going to your website to get the shower head, because I think. Well,
there's many things on there, and any questions you have yourself, Kirly-Sue, then I'm pleased to try and help you. And of course, I'm here to help any of your listeners, and we would really like to make a positive impact.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been lovely having you on the show today. If you want to find Roddy McDonald's company, Water for Life, please reach out.
Water for Health, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Water for Health. Yeah.
Yes.
Water for Health. Don't forget, it's Water for Health, Water, FOR for Health. Website and all social media handles. Just reach out and you will get help to start your healthy water drinking journey. So that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we've paused the recording. Thank you so much.
Fine.
That was brilliant.
Okay, that was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
So I will let Karen know when the recording is going to be live on the radio. So what they do, it's pre-recorded, obviously, and then it will go to the radio station, and then it will go into a transmission queue, and then it will be repeated a number of times. After it's been broadcast the first time, it will turn into a podcast. And then after the podcast is broadcast, then this video will go onto my YouTube channel, and then little snippets will go onto my Instagram and
Excellent.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Well. So yeah, you'll be
Great.
everywhere. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely want to get the shower head. So I'm going to go to your website.
Yeah. I tell you what, Kirly-Sue, if you just send me your email address, I'll send one off to you with my pleasure.
Brilliant. Okay, I'll do it through Karen. Oh,
do it through Karen. Send it on.
Yeah.
I'll send you a shower head off for you to
Brilliant.
try.
That would be
I presume you've got a hose on your shower, have you?
Yes.
Yeah, you just take off the end section and replace it with the other one. Yes. And,
fantastic. That's brilliant. So thank you so much for today, and see you again soon. I'm sure we'll cross our paths will cross very soon. Okay.
Thank you very much. All the best to you. Thank you.
And to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.